Get involved in therapy. I've always been a huge proponent of having coaches in the areas of my life that I find important. For example, my physical health is very important for me, so I hire trainers and instructors who walk me through workouts and help me track my performance over time. For my business, it's important for me. I check in with my circle of influence on a regular basis, and I continually lean on them and get coaching from them. And in recent years, I've really applied this same principle to my mental health by getting involved in therapy and mastering emotional regulation. And it's been an absolute game changer. Every couple of weeks, I talk with my therapist. It's been so valuable to have someone who's professionally trained, who's able to give me coaching and feedback and guidance to keep my mental health in order. And I also like this person doesn't really have a close tie or vested interest in me, so I can count on them to give me advice that's objective, not subjective or biased. And over the past couple of years, getting access to therapy has become even more important as struggles with mental health continue to increase in the world. In fact, the American Psychological Association reported that 8 out of 10 psychologists in the US have reported an increase in demand for anxiety treatment since the start of the pandemic. That's crazy. There's so much stress and anxiety in the world. And while we still have a lot of work to do to completely erase the stigma around mental health, the good news is things appear to be trending in a good direction. And in the past, one of the hurdles standing in the way of people getting therapy was the cost, how expensive it was. And unless you were in a good place financially, consistently investing in therapy was a bill that so many people just simply couldn't afford. But today's sponsor, BetterHelp, is one of the leading forces in helping make professional therapy more affordable and accessible to everyone. And I recently jumped on a call with certified BetterHelp therapist Melissa to dive deeper into why we should erase the stigma around supporting therapy, the role therapy has played in my life personally, the impact it's had for me, and why it should still be a necessity in your life as well. And I want you to check it out to hear what this discussion was all about. It's really powerful. How important is it for everyone to be thinking about exploring therapy and using therapy? Even if they feel like everything is okay, do you think it's important for everyone to be exploring it more?
Over 50% of people who are struggling with a mental health challenge never actually receive any treatment for it. And one reason I really love working for BetterHelp is knowing and seeing just how many people are coming here for the very first time because we're making it easier for people to get that help that they need. So if it's your first time considering therapy, you're in good hands and in good company. And depending on what you're struggling with, not getting help can lead to worsening symptoms. So for instance, untreated anxiety could lead to panic attacks, or untreated depression can make it really difficult to do what we call activities of daily living. So getting dressed, getting out of bed, taking care of your hygiene, taking care of household chores. These things are a big deal and can become really challenging when someone's experiencing depression. Mental health, self-care, therapy, they're all important because no matter what, we're going to continue facing stressors and challenges, and therapy can help us learn more about ourselves and our patterns and our strengths. So it's really something we can all benefit from.
I'm curious for people that maybe think it's a weakness or think that's only you should only go to therapy when there's something wrong with you or that you have a problem. How do people overcome that stigma? Specifically for me, growing up, as an athlete in the Midwest, it was never looked at as something that was okay or healthy to go to therapy. How do people overcome that potential idea of looking weak by working with a therapist?
Therapy is not necessarily about fixing something that is broken. Instead, I like to think of it as an opportunity to learn about our strengths, an opportunity to challenge ourselves to grow, a way to learn and embrace and be grateful for what we have, all with the goal of reaching our full potential and feeling our best. So I think it's really about reframing what therapy is, who goes to therapy, what it's for, and tending to our mental health and taking care of ourselves should really be a daily practice and not something we only focus on when things are really rough or when we've reached some sort of breaking point.
Some people don't find the best coaches right away, or maybe they try therapy and they're like, I didn't have the best experience, or that person didn't really resonate with me. How can people use BetterHelp and make sure they find someone who really makes them feel comfortable and works for them with their current life situation?
In therapy and psychology, there's an abundance of research that suggests the very most important factor in good therapy outcomes in helping people feel better through therapy is what we call the therapeutic alliance or the working alliance. And a big component of that is just the bond or the vibe that it is felt and created between the client and the therapist. So,
Because it's very intimate, it's very vulnerable to open up and share these things that you probably haven't shared with your friends or your family members. You might feel judged or shameful about certain things that you're thinking or feeling. So it's really important to find the right person that you can trust and feel comfortable with, right?
absolutely, you want to feel like they get you, you can be yourself, that they understand you, that you're working towards goals together and that they're in your corner. And a big part of developing that solid, trusting relationship is taking your preferences into account. So for some people, it's really important that they're talking to a woman therapist. For some, it's critical that they speak with a man. We have many people that want a therapist of color. So all of these preferences are really important to us, and finding you the best match is really important to us because we know how critical it is when it comes to effective and quality care.
I'm curious if someone is watching or listening to this right now and they have insurance, or maybe they don't have insurance, how can they get started? What's the process for getting started and trying it out?
Yeah, so the process is pretty easy. We have a short questionnaire that you fill out, and we ask you some of those preferences that you might have. And we take what you input, and we have this matching algorithm. And at the very end, we spit that algorithm to our network of therapists, and a match usually happens within 24 to 48 hours.
I love this. Melissa, I'm so excited about this. Again, I've been a big fan and proponent of therapy for myself. I do it every 2 weeks for the last year and a half, and it has helped me in my business grow. It's helped me in my personal relationships grow. It's helped me in my managing my team better, and just managing conflict in general in my life, and having more peace on a daily basis. So I cannot recommend therapy and BetterHelp enough. But if people want to get signed up today and try it out, where can they go? How can they get signed up?
Yeah, you can visit betterhelp.com/greatness to get started today, and all your listeners will receive 10% off their first month of therapy.
Melissa, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
If you want more, make sure to go to betterhelp.com/greatness for the 3 big reasons why online therapy has been so helpful for me. We actually have more tools than ever before to help us better manage the difficulties that we're facing. And during this episode, I'm going to share 9 science-backed techniques that you can use to keep your mind healthy every day. Now, without a healthy mind, you'll only get so far in life.